Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Here's Johnny, or Drawing Jack Nicholson in Procreate 5. Before we get into the drawing itself, let me just take a moment for a shameless plug and ask you to take a moment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And maybe even above and beyond that, share this if you like it, or any of the other videos on this channel on your social media spaces. Share on YouTube, share on Facebook, share on Twitter, or any of the other social media that you have. Get the word out there. I'm trying to get some subscribers in, get some viewers in, and hopefully get some eyes on the artwork here. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the caricature that we're doing today. When I first started studying caricature, one of the rules that was kind of made clear to me in some of the readings that I had done and some of the videos that I had watched was that a resemblance is really what caricature is all about. And regardless if you're going more cartoonish or more photorealistic, the resemblance is the key to everything. And that resemblance, for the most part, is going to be found in what's referred to as the T-zone. Now, the T-zone is that T shape that's made between the eyes and the nose, or the bridge of the nose that extends down. I would argue that we could also include the mouth in that, and this whole piece here is really kind of meant to drive that concept home. You don't get to see very much Jack Nicholson's face here, but I think the resemblance is a successful one, and all we're really seeing is eyes, nose, and mouth. The chin's cut off. We have no real shape of the head to go off of other than a tiny little indication of the jaw. Everything, again, is that T-zone that I mentioned before. And again, I feel like that resemblance is achieved, that the experiment here was largely successful. As far as the image itself is concerned, this is obviously a very, very iconic, classic scene from the movie The Shining. One of my favorite movies, and very much, embedded in that kind of horror genre that I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of. I know I draw a lot of dark stuff, and I do have my love of the old classic 80s horror monsters like, Jason Voorhees and the Michael Myers and Pinhead and so on and so forth. And I even have some of those drawings on this channel already, with more to come, as a matter of fact. But for the most part, modern horror has really just not done it for me. And I think that's maybe even why you won't see any real modern drawings related to like horror monsters in my channel, because I just don't watch the movies. I don't really get anything out of them. The movie, the monster type thing, I think was done best in the 80s and the 90s. Nothing really is appealing to me these days, other than maybe the psychological thriller. And I think that's where The Shining is a really good example of where psychological thriller can become true horror. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I should probably lay that on the line right now. I've read just about anything he's written, especially during my teenagerdom. And as a matter of fact, a little story related to this. The Shining was first introduced to me through the book, obviously. I got it at a very young age, though. When I was about 10 years old or so, I was begging and begging and begging, and my parents got me my first grown-up book, The Shining, and put it under the Christmas tree for me one year. I got it. I was absolutely thrilled to have it. I couldn't wait to read it, and went to bed every night for about a week or so afterwards, reading chapters from that book from beginning to end. And eventually getting tired enough to just put the book down and go to bed. Problem was that it would put ideas in my head, and even though I wasn't scared going to bed, I would have the most horrific nightmares that would just wake me up in the middle of the night, absolutely terrified. But what was even more scary is saying anything about it to my parents or anything like that, because if I mentioned anything, then, they'd take the book away, and who wants that? So I had to live with those nightmares, which, were typical, you're reading stuff and right before you go to bed, it's kind of stuck in your head type thing. So like little ghost type nightmares and stuff like that. Nothing that was permanently psychological damaging, I don't think. But ultimately a pretty interesting little experience nonetheless. Something of a roller coaster ride, to say the least. Let's see here. Now, I don't know that I'm going to be spending the entire video here talking or making comment on here. So if you have any questions about how any of this was rendered, feel free to leave a comment. I will say, however, this is not a conventional means of doing coloring. This is a method I was experimenting around with, where it was more like adding in shadows in irregular shapes and Again, I feel like it works for this piece, but it's not my typical go-to method of doing rendering or coloring in general. I tend to like soft shadow a lot and more casual blends of colors. But for, I think, the limited color palette that this has, just because of this extreme close-up, again, I just think it works, and I was pretty happy with the final product. Having said that, I am going to sign off, let you enjoy some of the music here. Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, one of my favorites. I definitely think it sets a mood here, and I hope you enjoy it. In the meantime, again, one more time, please don't forget to subscribe, share, tell your friends, and I'll have more content posted soon. Thanks.